All right, we're here for our second match, week 3. Phyrexial will be one league. We got Michael M here with his, I think this is a brand new Urabrask avatar here. I'll be looking at his hand, and he's up against John P, who was victorious last week in his feature match against Jeremy, looking to keep it coming. Yeah, so how's his hand looking over there?
Just like a mix of white and green, leaning in the toxic strategy, but has like a Lattice Blade Mantis, just a good quality creature of the set.
Yeah, looks like we're going to have a little Selesnya green-white mirror match here. Michael had one of the more talked about rerolls of his pool with his completed pool with featuring among other things like triple Evolve Spinoderm, double Wander, Nissa, Vraska, and probably some others I'm forgetting because the list just went on and on and on. But so we'll see how that translates into the gameplay here because John P is doing pretty well for himself here, 9-5, just outside the top 8, but off to a strong start. And there's actually a bit of a storyline here because they played in the last league. So in Plane Chase they played, and it was actually a death match. So both players were on 10 losses, and John was able to win that one. So Michael's probably thinking about that, wanting to get a bit of revenge, and also wanting to move up the standings in this league here.
So choosing to not block here, and not wanting to trade with a Crawling Chorus, which gets free value off of its death.
I never want to trade with a Crawling Chorus unless I have my
Yeah,
own.
yeah, exactly. You only want to trade unless you're trading Crawling Choruses.
Guess
But here
some
he's gonna go block with the Titanic Growth Ice.
looks like
Seems.
looks like some kind of trick is going to be used. Michael doesn't have a response here. He's I think he was hoping to maybe activate his Skull Bomb there, but
Yeah.
it's only as a sorcery. All the Skull Bombs are only as a sorcery.
Well, not the
They're
first effect.
well,
He
yeah,
could
they're colored. Their main effect, yeah.
maybe hoping to find a answer to this, but
I don't
to
think
no avail.
I don't think Michael's that sad because Titanic Growth is one of the few things that could actually push through this 5/5 hexproof. So
Yeah.
he's I mean obviously there's no answer to a hexproof creature straight up, but Titanic Growth is a pretty good way to get it dead, and that's not been eliminated. So I don't think I don't think Michael's that upset at all, and he still has a 1/1 token to show for it.
Yeah, this is the first of the many spider derms we probably will see during this match.
Yeah, he has a good chance to draw one every game, I'll tell you that much. But the rest of his hand is just a couple lands here and a Bladed Ambassador. So
Okay.
he's going to be leaning heavy on this 5/5 here. And John just
Yeah,
decided to spend his turn making a 3/3, which is a good thing to do when you have that incubation sack.
okay, not gonna go for the double block, with not risking it getting blown out by anything.
Yeah, I imagine without having being in like having blue or black for proliferate, the incubation sack probably is just going to make 3 tokens, maybe 4 if he has a proliferate, but still excellent value for a card that
Yeah.
costs you 1 mana.
Well, John here actually has indoctrination attendant to reset it
Okay.
at some point.
Yeah.
With among other things, like he had the Mantis, like I mentioned earlier. He has the Filigree Silex, very versatile card, and a Charge of the Mites.
Yeah, so I mean, Michael has nothing left here, just in hand, just to land. So if he can, make sure not to take too much damage from this 5/5, looks like he's gonna be able to take over the board once this 5/5 goes away, which will be in a few turns here.
Yeah, also like now that John has 2/3/3s, like the double block doesn't look that awful anymore. Like you're not straight up giving away 2 creatures if your opponent has nothing.
Yeah, so he's drawn a Copper Longlegs here, which can bring Hexproof back to this Spinoderm and also proliferate the Bladed Ambassador. So, obviously he'd want to draw something more impactful, but as far as a seemingly non-impactful card, it's actually not too bad here. Yeah, so he is going to do this sort of onboard trick with the proliferate.
Yeah, unfortunately, not attacking with the Spinoderm means that it's just one turn kind of wasted because it doesn't stick on the board indefinitely
Yeah,
unless they're a very specific situation.
it gets an extra turn, but he didn't do anything with the extra turn yet because he didn't
Yeah,
attack with it because he doesn't want to trade it for a 3/3, which is understandable, but it's running out of time here. Yeah, so he's drawn
I
another one of his rares here, Skrelv the Defector Mite, which doesn't look too good against these colorless tokens here because it can give hexproof from a color and can't be blocked by that color. But if the if the opposing creatures are colorless, it's not super helpful.
okay, so just going for the double block here.
Yeah, well,
Uh, get that 3/3 for a
yeah.
5/5.
I mean, he knows the 5/5 is on borrowed time, so no sense holding on to it. Just attack. But yeah, this incubation sack just stalled the board here. John has more cards in hand. He's going to be able to deploy more threats, and the incubation sack is gonna gonna come back to hand here. So just yet another use of the indoctrination attendant, which you were talking about earlier. So it's just showing up and doing its thing and doing it well.
Yeah, John, he has a good enough board now. He decided he could finally go on the offensive here. His opponent's creatures are small. He could block everything with relative ease.
Right, so he's drawn an Annex Sentry, and I guess he's just going to use it to get rid of the 3/3. I might have thought about holding on to it and getting the incubation sack off the board because that's like killing multiple 3/3s.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
he said let's just get it off now. The 3/3's never coming back, so if the Annex Sentry gets dealt with, you know, there's nothing underneath it to come back. So pretty understandable play considering he doesn't have any other things in hand. So
Yeah.
and
Also, the opponent has most likely a removal spell somewhere in those 6 cards. So
yeah, and there's no guarantee he's even going to play the incubation sack on the next turn. So, deploying it got rid of a 3/3. It got immediate board presence. But this incubation sack is still looming large here, and he
yep.
found a removal for the Skrelv, which was starting to poke in for damage there. So of note, despite not having too much left in the tank here as far as cards in hand, has got drawn to 5 poisons. I don't know how much proliferate he has access to, but and he also has a life loss here from the Phyrexian Atlas every turn. So
Yeah.
it's not
It just
nothing.
says to John that
Yeah.
he has limited amount of turns. I mean, 12 turns is a lot, but like he can't just like dirtle around and do nothing for a while.
Yeah, here's Spider-Derm number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good card. It'll probably trade for another golem, as it stands.
Yes. All right. So
Uh,
okay, here's Malira. So that stops any multiple poison triggers in a turn, and it can also save a creature uh, from dying, or when it dies, it comes back. All right.
oh yeah, John's holding up Charge of the Mites here.
And
If
here,
worst comes to serve, at least he has an answer to that Silex with to the Atlas with the Silex, so he
yeah.
can just do it for 3.
And Michael has drawn one of the what we call boogeyman cards of the format here, the Eternal Wanderer, which just turns every game on its head here.
Yeah, that card might just do all the work now.
Yeah, so he's just gonna send in with a bunch of things because he knows the board's getting wet. Though Malira does change a bit of that.
Well, at that case, you could probably just
He could leave the
target
Malira.
Malira.
Yeah, he could leave the
Yeah,
Malira.
but in this position, you could have even played the Eternal Wanderer and just made a 2/2 double strike.
Yeah, like I'm always thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna use the minus to clear the board. But if you have what might be the better, if you think you have the better board, you don't need to do that. It has high loyalty, so comes in with I believe 5 and goes up if you want to do the pacifism effect or the something can't attack or block until the next turn, and it stays at 5 if you make a 2/2. So
This attack is actually quite fruitful. It's still okay, so he hasn't finalized blocks
yeah.
yet. So it's gonna do 4 damage and give more toxic. Okay, there we
Well,
go.
it's only going
Oh
to
no,
give
it's gonna.
one. It's only going to give one poison because of the Malira.
Oh right, yeah. You can only get 1 poison at a time.
Yeah. So if you get one or more, you get one, and then all future poison this turn is turned off. So yeah, we see Malira. Her previous incarnation also did not care for -1 counters, I believe, the infect
Yes.
creatures. So
Okay, so wow, John's gonna use the charge on the mites here. just to get rid of a token.
Huh.
And that's good news for Michael because he was going to wipe the board anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't actually threatening extra toxic damage. So yeah, and now that there's no more non tokens left, Michael can just leave that 1/1 there.
Like you could just zero if he wants to. Oh,
Yeah,
he's choosing to wipe the board. It
well,
seems.
I think once he gave up like his Slaughter Singer, I think that was I think the attack all was kind of showing, except for the 3/1 that he was intending on doing the -4. He's not going to attack like that if he's going to just make a creature.
Good news about the Malira against the Eternal Wanderer. Malira, not very intuitive against the Wanderer
Yeah, well, he can
because the
just
opponent could just yeah.
yeah he can just make him keep. Oh, he could have kept the 1/1. Might no.
Uh, yeah, he could give him the might because once he didn't sack the Malira, he could just give him the worst creature.
Yeah, well, Malira only works on a non-token creature because it's when it dies it'll come back rather than like it gains
Yeah,
indestructible or something. And of note, these incubation sack tokens are not very good against the Eternal Wanderer because the +1, which is usually temporary removal, is actually just removes it because it exiles it until its controller's next end step, which for tokens we know means it's gone forever.
yeah. Like also the fact this Blade Ambassador is the 2-drop that is left makes it so you can't just like kill it with the Silex.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he left open the 1 mana there,
Yeah,
keeping the indestructible creature here.
I mean I guess
Alternatively,
also
yeah. Alternatively, he could have given the Bladed Ambassador indestructible, and then kept another creature and had two creatures.
yeah.
I suppose, but this is also okay.
Yeah, there's probably value in like be able to just have an indestructible creature to defend your one loyalty planeswalker.
Yeah. So he's gonna block here.
You can do it, and then maybe the Silex gets used here. Yeah,
Yeah,
just to get the both off the board as opposed to only Malira.
and we get a
Oh
Skrelv coming
wait.
back here,
Oh
which is not nothing.
yeah, I think the ossification is always
Yeah,
hidden under those lands, so
yeah,
very easy to
yeah.
forget it's there.
Yeah, you're never thinking about the ossification here, but there it is. Yeah, so now I can just start +1ing, and he has a Slaughter Singer in hand, so that's extra life damage, not extra poison, but
It
extra
even
life
zero here.
damage.
Like the 2/2 samurai still tangles with the mantis, and even if the samurai gets removed, he has a 2/2 backup just in
Yeah, I
case.
think he just wants to attack here, seeing that John can't do anything. So we see these rares coming into play. The Spinoderm coming up, then followed by Wanderer, and we've seen Wanderer take over games. It's hard to be in a spot where Wanderer does not do what you need it to do. With the flexibility of all of its options, and particularly that -4 that is the most impactful.
Oh, that's interesting. John drew Basilica Shepherd, but chose to play Predation Steward instead. He's not holding
Okay,
anything up with the 3 mana, but maybe he could have miscounted. Probably want to use the sack, play a Mantis at the same
okay,
time. I thought he had 6 mana.
right. Okay, well, he's going to be able to get in here, just getting
And
John dead
poison.
here to the
And
poison. So he was at 7, and this is going to deal 3 poison. So we see what happens. Wanderer comes down, and the game turns in your favor pretty quickly. Yeah, so Michael M, like I said, has a deck just full of these bombs. He's splashing, I think it's just a Vraska and 2 Necrogen Rot Priest. And the rest is white and green cards. Many rares as we discussed. And John, is he splashing there, or is it just white green?
yeah, he's splashing a red. He's splashing Luca.
Okay,
Uh,
that's just we see these planeswalkers get splashed quite a lot. Some of these gold
yeah,
ones, or even Vraska, which it looks like you need double black, but with the Phyrexian you just need 1 black. He's also splashing Drown in Ichor, the black removal spell. So
yeah,
pretty good
very fine.
cards. Yeah.
Very good with all the Spinoderms, with all the walkers. Like it definitely like fits well with his what he's doing.
Oh yeah, and it's just it's about as efficient as you can get for removal.
Yeah. John has sided and vanished into eternity, thinking, okay, well, it's 3 mana to exile any of those problematic walkers that I
Yeah.
know my opponent has.
Well, Michael's doing the same thing. He decided to vanish into eternity. He
Getting
said
rid of
he
the
said I
incubation
saw
sac.
incubation sac, I saw filigree silex, I saw ossification. Um, that actually, the ossification sort of being hidden there, probably not factoring into John's thoughts. What's actually big there? Because the Skrelv, once your opponent gets down to low life or high poison, that Skrelv is going to be able to get in the last few points like pretty reliably.
Yeah, I definitely think that ossification was forgotten.
Yeah, because it's usually when you have those, it's either under a creature or under like an artifact or enchantment that is like visible, like very visible in the battlefield. Like you just see it sitting
Yeah.
there, and the ossification just you see it, but you don't think of it. It's hidden. Um, yeah, so we got a mulligan here. He had a one lander, and he's got his classic evolved Spinoderm Eternal Wanderer hand, as his deck is wont to do.
Yep.
He has Vanish into Eternity and three lands, and he has a good draw. He drew a good card here, the Acre Spit Basilisk, which he's hoping to stave off some of this early aggression that we see John starting. So what's he got as follow ups here?
Well, he's just gonna play probably a Lattice Blade Mantis here with that Mirror Convert. This card was very good on 4 and on 3 mana. It's kind of just oppressive.
Yep.
Uh, After that, he has like Basilica Shepherd if he finds a land, Charge of the Mites for interaction, and a Phyrexian Atlas to be able to like cast his Luca, presumably.
Okay, so I imagine that this Basilisk might draw out the Charge of the Mites if he doesn't want to trade his Mantis for it.
Yeah, he definitely he hovered it over a second, but I think that's what he's gonna do. Hit that attack for 7, 8 actually.
Yep, he's just going to do that. Attack all.
Yeah, just this is your
Keeping.
classic format. Your opponent can play a 1 or 2 drop, so you're getting punished super hard for it.
Yeah, so of note, Michael does have a fourth land, but he can't cast the Spider-Derm because it's all plains.
Oh no.
Yeah, this this format doesn't have dual lands like we've seen in some recent formats. So life's a little harder here. He can't cast his bomb here. So basically, he needs to draw two more lands and survive until the Wanderer, which is it's possible that he does not do that. He's taking 6 here. He's got a Slaughter Singer, but that can get tapped down here.
It blocks though. At least
Well, it
yes,
can
it
get
could
tapped
get
down
tapped
by
down. It
the
does.
the Sinew Dancer. He can just spend 4, and if Michael taps out here, if John sees it, he just taps on his main phase.
Yeah,
Which
it's on board.
yeah, you're usually only using your tapper on your turn when you're about to win, and this is that. So
Yep, he sees it. Sees the
yeah,
on board win and just goes for it.
yeah. John just had a tremendous start here. Michael stumbled a bit. He had the mulligan. He had the 3-drop, but the 3-drop got killed, and he could not cast his 4-drop. But I mean, his 4-drop would have just traded with the Mantis anyway, but at least would have given him some time to get to his Wanderer in hand. So,
Yep.
yeah, class, aggro start, opponent is a mulligan, first play is on turn 3. We see that a lot in this format. If you are on the draw and your first play is on turn 3, you might have, not straight up lost the
Already
game, but you may have a really hard time in the game.
Yep.
If you're on the play and your first play is on turn 3, it's passable because you at least have the option to block your opponent's 2-drop. But
Yep.
being on the draw, not having a 1 or 2-drop, yeah, kind of a death knell in this format, particularly. Like that affects mulligan decisions. Like normally in most formats, you're on the draw, you have like 2 3-drops and a 4-drop, or 2 3-drops and a 5-drop and some lands. You always keep and never think twice. In this format, you actually often have to send that back, especially if it's a best of 3 and you know what your opponent's doing. But even in the dark, sometimes you have to send those hands back. All right. So we
Yeah, it's a
got
bit more flexible in this sealed environment, but in
yeah.
draft it's very unforgivable.
So we got a 6-lander into a 1-lander into kind of the I'm not gonna say ideal five card hand, but he's got Duelist of Deep Faith. He's got Vorak and a Spinoderm. So one land gets him hopefully the land for Spinoderm here.
Okay, so opponent's just gonna run out 2 rares.
Yeah,
Nothing too special, but they are
he's
pretty okay.
yeah, he can cast some rares. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the third land here for the Vorak. He does have a Canker Bloom, so that'll give him some board presence while he tries to get his Vorak. Because if he does go Vorak into Spinoderm, looks like he'd have a shot here. John's not doing anything exceptionally special.
Yeah, John only has lands in hand.
Okay, so he has 4 lands behind. All right.
Yeah. So it could actually turn into a game like one person flooded, one person screwed, and multi five. It's pretty much on the top of the deck at this point.
Yeah, well, the classic screw versus flood. The person who's mana flooded is basically depending on the top of their deck to draw something, and Michael can just, as soon as he gets a land, he's gonna be able to start casting spells.
Okay, well he's found himself a ruthless predation with the venerated raw priest. That's also just another poison counter.
All right, so
Uh,
that's going to up the necessity here for a land for Michael. He does have a zealot's conviction. I don't know if that's going to affect the fight here. He can give one of his
it,
creatures +1/+1. So let's see what gets targeted.
it could if because he targeted the branch blade stalker. Okay, he's targeting the rot priest, so he could actually trade with it with the conviction.
Yeah, so it'll be actually
I should just eat
his
it.
creature will win actually.
Yeah, his future will just eat it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
yeah. So he's gonna have a 4/3 versus a 2/4. Yeah. So
Wow.
John's only spell got countered here, and keeps Michael quite very much alive here. Though, yeah, there is an attack here with the 3/1. I mean,
I wonder if you're supposed to attack with the 3-1 there first.
I think Michael can pretty happily trade. His 2/2 is not getting through this 3/3 at any point, so he might as well keep going. All right, so he's despite not getting a land, I think he's just gonna get this Malira off the board here and start attacking here, start chunking him for 5 damage while he doesn't know that John has nothing to do, but he's gonna take this opportunity to gain go on the offensive.
Yeah, this is a very unique gameplay where the person who multi the 5 and only has 2 lines is on the aggressive.
Yeah, well, he has no choice here.
Yeah,
He blew out that removal. He blew out that removal spell, which you know that there is always that risk with fight spells, right? Of
yeah,
what
for
happens
sure.
if your opponent actually has a pump spell. It's a complete disaster.
Yeah, it's very weird though. The last 2 sets we've had fight spells
All right,
instead of bite
well,
spells because that's what we've had usually.
there's land number 3, but luckily he's at 20 life here, and he's not under siege. I mean, John can attack with his toxic creature here to get him a poison counter, but yeah. All right, so I mean, he can attack with the Canker Bloom, and then he can play his Vorak, get himself a land, play a Spider-Derm, and then looks like things are gonna go his way if that happens. Especially because his opponent
Yeah,
is at 7 here. So
kind of have to force
very
double block.
very unusual turn of events here. Just not what we're expecting to see, and
Yeah,
just lands on
it's
the other side.
all it's all because like of that like pump spell against the fight. Oh, he drew Luca, but it makes it 3/3. He goes to he doesn't actually lose any life because he's 2 forest.
No,
So
yeah,
you can
he
make it
has
3/3 here.
yeah. Okay,
That's not that's not bad because you can block the Vorak and then you can make and he'll go to 5 or Luca will go to 2.
yeah, I find it's hard to. I find attacking opponent's life total. Luca just makes a creature for a -1, so I find
Yeah.
like that's a planeswalker that you absolutely. I feel like I have to attack that planeswalker just because it keeps making creatures.
Yep. It's like 5/3. It's like that's pretty insane. But yeah, here's another 3/3. Here's a 1/3. Uh, I mean, he has to chump this Spinoderm and he has
Yeah.
to block a Crawling Chorus.
Well, yeah.
But
Michael's drawn his vanish into eternity, so that means
not
he
well,
can just dump this Luca here.
not very fortunate draw. Very good answer for Planeswalkers. It's notably that's what that card is mostly used for.
Yep. That and I mean it could hit problematic equipment or
An artifact.
things
Yeah,
like
artifacts.
ossification or whatnot. But yeah, frequently it's the planeswalkers, and this set does have more planeswalkers than usual, right? We have 10 rather than like
Yep.
2 or 3. All right, so we see this mulligan to 5 end up working out because the other player flooded. So classic tale, screw versus flood. Congratulations to Michael for the victory here.